Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Criminological Theories. This week is week 13, and this week we are talking about life course theories. And I think this theory will really resonate with most of you, if not all of you. And I'm certain then that you can all relate to this, especially those of you who are in law enforcement or who deal with kids. This week's most important tenet of crime, and this is the assumption that we make with crime, is that, hey, whether or not people commit crime. Now, if you look back at the course, we were talking about rational choice theory, social learning theory, control theory. We even switched over to um, labeling theory, and things of that nature. And really, what we kind of make the assumption on is that people commit crime or they don't commit crime, but we really don't take into account that that changes. The likelihood of committing a crime throughout a person's life changes, and it's not constant, right? So it's not as simple as, hey, is that person a criminal or not? But you have to kind of imagine at what point in a person's life are they more likely to be criminal. So this week's theory, the heart of it is really what's known as the age crime curve. And those of you who are, like I said, in law enforcement kind of know this, or in corrections or whatever, but really crime starts and peaks around the teenage years, and that is the onset of crime, and it really goes down after that. So the peak age for crime is, I would say around between uh, 13 to 17 years old, and then as somebody enters into their 20s and 30s, 40s, 50s, that declines and that remains fairly stable after that. And this age crime curve uh, is found universal across all cultures. So there's several reasons for that, and really the big question in dealing with age and crime is looking at where we want to put our dollars in terms of crime. So if you know that crime is going down during the desistance period when somebody enters their 20s, 30s, 40s, etc., do you really want to put that punishment there? If you believed in the age crime curve, you would want to prevent that spike in crime in terms of the age crime curve. So you would want to take some of those dollars that you want to spend on punishment, which is when crime is already headed downward naturally, and put that before that spike in crime. Hopefully that makes sense to you guys. So, talking about the onset and versus the desistance. So the onset is kind of when crime goes up uh, during the teenage years. Part of that, part of the explanation, and you guys can read about it in the lecture and the readings, is that it ranges from a bunch of stuff. Number one is incomplete cognitive development. So you kind of see this with kids, teenagers, youths. They don't make the best decisions. They make horrible decisions, in fact. And if you want to apply rational choice theory, a lot of teenagers are simply not rational, right? Some of the things that they do is quite stupid. So they do stupid things, and even more stupid, they'll post it online, they'll share it on social media. So these are, and some of the things have no rational utility to it, right? Lighting each other on fire. I mean, you could kind of see these things on YouTube just by a quick search of like stupid teenage pranks or things of that nature. Um, so they don't make the best decisions. Number two, if you look at, for example, social learning theory, you could kind of see that in terms of differential association, you can see that they're separated from their parents. So you're hanging around with other teenagers who also make bad decisions, and there's a slew of other variety of other reasons as well, but those are kind of the main ones. Now you could kind of see the desistance phase, focusing on the desistance and why crime spikes at that period and then starts going down once people hit their 20s, basically. The first one, opposing the onset, is cognitive development and cognitive maturity. You make better decisions as you get a little bit older. Not everybody, of course, there's always exceptions to every single theory, but in general, right, people start making better decisions. You're a better decision maker at age 30 than you are at age 20, age 40. Hopefully you're a better decision maker than you were during your teenage years. So you start seeing that desist along with other sociological environmental factors, such as greater responsibilities from employment, families, um, more responsibilities just across the board. So you're going to see that naturally, what's known as aging out of crime. So that's essentially the theory in a nutshell. Um, I'm a little bit backed up right now. I've been kind of, I'm just sorry, I'm just looking at the notes. I've just been kind of working on trying to give you some feedback. I've been super busy this week, so I haven't been quite as active on the threaded discussions. Hopefully, I'll be able to catch up with everything. But I am in the process of giving you feedback or actually grading your papers. You guys have so far from the ones I've seen a handful already. Hopefully, I'll get that wrapped up tonight. If not, then tomorrow, which is Monday, get that wrapped up and then give you feedback. But you guys are doing pretty well. Some of the things that I've noticed so far is in terms of focusing on the writings, make sure you explain the theories. Don't just assume that because I'm reading it that I know what you're talking about. This paper should be written to a general audience. So, just explain the theory a little bit more than just one or two sentences. Just kind of dive into it. I'm telling you this because you'll need to do this for your next paper, which is the final paper. And also check your writing. Make sure it's in APA. Check your writing in terms of I wouldn't call it my pet peeve, but it's something I notice is that people use a lot of contractions, which is shouldn't, couldn't, wouldn't, ain't. Is ain't a word? Well, ain't is probably just slang, but anyway, you guys get the idea. So instead of isn't, write is not. Just write it out always for your papers. I think that's it. You guys have a great week, and I will see you online. Oh, you know what? I might not finish your papers tonight just because Game of Thrones is on, so I might want to check that out. But I'll try to stay up late and do as much as I can. But as usual, contact me, call me, text me if you have any questions or comments or anything like that. Remember, these threaded discussions, I'm like the troll master there, so I don't necessarily believe in all these theories, but I will try to defend each one each week as if that's my hobby or that's all I believe in. But thank you for being critical with this type of stuff, and I will see you online.